Merry Christmas, everyone. I hope that you all have an amazing holiday with your friends, family, and loved ones. But just yesterday, on Christmas Eve, we learned of some huge news from KDFans.com. Permits were filed from King's Dominion for imminent demolition of Anaconda, the 1991 custom aero looping coaster. This ride has been an icon of the park ever since it opened, and now at this point in time, it's been operating for over 30 years. It is not usually considered a fan favorite, and in today's day and age of the new Six Flags chain wanting to remove the undesirable attractions from their park, it is clear that King's Dominion has selected Anaconda as the next to go. Now, unfortunately, this does follow the trend that we have seen among the other Six Flags parks, where an official announcement is not being made prior to its closure, meaning there are no formal goodbyes, no last rides. This is it. By the time the park opens for the 2025 season, Anaconda will be gone. And that'll be a stark sight to see. Anaconda is in a prime location in Jungle Expedition, standing over the remains of Lake Charles, this iconic lake that goes back to the opening of King's Dominion. And while you can't deny that it wasn't the best ride, it certainly was one that everyone knew, and it will be weird to see King's Dominion without it. Now, on a personal note, I have never been a fan of this ride. I always joked that the day King's Dominion announces the ride is closing, I'll throw a party for it, say good riddance. And you know what? On this holiday season, I'll toast to Anaconda's closure. I will not miss it. But I do feel bad for the people who were fans of Anaconda that are sad they can't get their last rides. Because regardless of how bad a ride is, there's always going to be someone out there who enjoys it, who will want to say goodbye, that deserves to say goodbye. Now, at this point in time, King's Dominion has not made an official announcement that Anaconda is going. I imagine at some point that announcement will come, maybe next week or early into 2025. I think the timing for Anaconda's closure is very specific. There's a reason that they're doing this right now, even beyond what corporate is asking. First and foremost, it is easier to mask a major ride closure the same time that you're debuting something new and exciting. People will offer forgiveness that you're closing Anaconda because you're about to open up Rapterra. And funny enough, this is not the first time that King's Dominion will have closed a major ride at the same time that they opened up a brand new one. As excited as I was to ride Twisted Timbers in 2018, that was also the last time people ever got to experience Volcano. Now, I know that one closed for different reasons, but it seems like King's Dominion can't ever go 1 year where there isn't a major gap in the park's skyline. And as excited as I am to ride that Volcano replacement, experience Rapterra, now there will be a new gap in Jungle Expedition as you look out over Lake Charles and see nothing. And I think aesthetically that might work at first if they're able to preserve the lake, dress it up a little, maybe make it a nice scenic overlook. But I could also see them doing the opposite and just filling in the lake completely, putting up some work walls, and it's just an eyesore. We'll have to wait and see what happens, but I think the fact that we're just now learning about this and there weren't any prior rumors makes me think that this was a last-minute decision. I think Anaconda has always been on the chopping block. There's a reason that it was never fully incorporated into the Jungle Expedition theming. A ride like Avalanche got rethemed into Reptilian. Flight of Fear is getting upgrades for next year. Backlot Stunt Coaster has been heavily rumored to be rethemed, but there was never anything for Anaconda, not even a sign upgrade. Because why pour money into something that you don't plan to keep around? But that being said, I don't think the original plan was to close it for this year. I think that's where corporate stepped in and said, you gotta pick some rides to close. How can we save money? Which, if that is the reason, I am actually a little surprised that Anaconda is going because from what I understand, this is a relatively easy ride to maintain. It rarely ever goes down. It's not really a problem child. These aero rides are pretty robust. And surprisingly, it would get a decent line. It was never as popular as some of these other rides, but it was also not a total dead zone. But when you look at King's Dominion's roller coaster lineup, this is the obvious one to close. It's old, and frankly, even though it's an aero custom looper, it was never a good one. I would have rather seen this close several years ago other than Vortex at Kings Island. I much preferred that ride. But here we are at the end of 2024. I honestly couldn't even tell you the last time that I rode this thing. And I hope that whatever comes next will be much better. Although, because Rapterra is coming in 2025, I don't expect its replacement to be anytime soon. Volcano gave its last rides in 2018. 7 years later is when its replacement is coming. Hopefully the Anaconda replacement doesn't take quite as long, but but this is a prime piece of land that could be home to something much better. I've always said a next generation Vekoma coaster here would be so cool, like a flyer even. There's not a flying coaster in Virginia, that'd be really awesome. Or if they want to go with something a bit tamer, a really neat spinning coaster could be fun. I'd at least hope that they would replace a thrill coaster with a thrill coaster, because I think there are other parcels of land that you could fit a nice family coaster, including in the plot of land of what I anticipate will be some other attractions that will likely be closing along with Anaconda. Because if you look to Carowinds or Six Flags Great Adventure, it wasn't just one big roller coaster that shut down. Along with Nighthawk came their Enterprise and their Drop Tower. For King's Dominion, I have some predictions of what else could be closing along with it. If it doesn't end up just being Anaconda, I think Berserker up front is a great contender to take down. These intimate looping starships are a dying breed, and frankly, I never thought this was a very good ride. I also fully expect their go-karts to be gone very soon. Last I visited, the karts had been completely removed and there were walls up around the track. King's Dominion right now is sending a very clear message that this attraction is done, which would not surprise me at all because go-karts seem to be going away at theme parks. But this plot of land, along with the pathway from Dinosaurs Alive, would open up a ton of space for a new roller coaster, eventually. I could also see the rapids going, Whitewater Canyon. It's all the way in the back. I don't even think a lot of people know it exists. Carowinds recently removed their rapids. You could take that out and replace it with something much better, and I think that would revitalize that section of the park. I heard a couple people speculating about the Drop Tower because that has notorious downtime, and with Carowinds recently announcing the removal of their intimate Drop Tower, could King's Dominions go as well? I'm personally leaning towards no because I think that would be a very complicated removal process. It's in the center of the park, and they just recently got it back open. It is up and running again, so I like to think that this is going to be sticking around for a while, and frankly, that would be a real bummer to see go. But of the big attractions in the park, those are the ones that came to my mind. Obviously, they could probably end up pulling some smaller ones from Planet Snoopy just fine and no one would really notice. I could see some of these gone before the start of 2025 or just removed at some point in the future. But it's very clear that the new Six Flags has an idea and a direction that they want to take their parks in, and it all starts with rides coming down. And frankly, of any of the attractions that I've mentioned, I don't think they'd be that missed. But it still doesn't change the fact that I hope that in the future we get official announcements for last rides so people can say their goodbyes. Because as a consumer and a loyal fan, this is getting really frustrating. I'm not sad to see Anaconda go, but I know someone out there is. You never know what effect a ride has had on someone. So let me know down in the comments below, what do you think of Anaconda closing at King's Dominion? Do you agree with the park's choice? Do you think anything else is going to come down with it? And if you're new to the channel, I'd hope that you hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much for joining me. Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays.